Our final section is Think It Through. In Think It Through, we talk about Psalms. Psalms is a book. There are 150 of them found in the Old Testament. And they use the example of different Psalms in this section. And it is a record of prayers of pain, hopes, joys of the Israelite people. According to Jewish tradition, it is said that King David, wrote the Psalms. We do not believe that. Most of these Psalms were used at the time of the Hebrew people for worship. There are songs of praise, adoration, blessing, lamentations, all the different types of Psalms. Please know that they are used and recited during the Liturgy of the Hours. They are also used within our Mass. When we do the responsorial psalm, this is the book in which we get the psalms in which we recite and do our response to. Again, we talk about the new commandment, that Jesus gives us, because it is through Jesus, who is the Son of God, made man. And Jesus says in John 15, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." This is called the new commandment. Remember, in the last section we talked about the great commandment, which is to love the Lord your God above all else, and to love your neighbor as yourself. But then Jesus takes it a step further in the new commandment, not just to love your neighbor as yourself, but to love as Jesus loved, which is the most difficult call there is, because Jesus loved and forgave his enemies as well. We have the definition of grace. It is, I ask you on your quiz to know where it comes from. It is gratia, which means free, because it is a free and undeserved gift of God's love to us. That is the definition of grace. And God's grace is always at work in our lives, helping us to live as children of God. It is through grace that we learn to love as Jesus loved. And finally, we have a beautiful video and story of St. Francis Xavier Cabrini. And though she was born in Italy and became a sister, she did most of her work within the United States, helping to establish a network of education, healthcare, and social services within the United States. And she was the first American citizen, even though she was not born in the United States, she was the first American citizen to be canonized by the Catholic Church. And she is the patron saint of immigrants. We will be watching this video together, and I hope you will take advantage of watching it so that we can discuss it within. And here is the hyperlink right here. Just click on this and watch the hyperlink of Father James Martin discussing the life of St. Francis Xavier. Thank you for listening. This is the end of